Hello, I'm Dr. Kulisz. We'll be talking today about cholesterol. It is a highly controversial issue and actually became really a mantra in the medical industry that cholesterol is bad, and the whole idea of supporting good health is to get cholesterol down as much as we can. Well, I have a question here. How is it that we lived on this earth for hundreds of thousands of years and cholesterol was never a problem, while since 1953 it became a major medical scare? Everything started really in 1953 when Dr. Ansel Keys from the University of Minnesota came to the conclusion in his findings that people that get sick get their cholesterol elevated. And so he saw people that were sick, and as a result of it, he saw that, or at least it appeared to be, the cholesterol was getting high. Well, so he actually produced information about it in a form that if cholesterol shows up, people are getting sick, which was not how it was really done. Well, it was a fraud. It was definitely a fraud. So he basically, from the population of large number of medical reports, he picked specific points that matched his hypothesis, and he basically presented it in the paper that was published in the Journal of Mount Sinai Hospital in 1953. I have some notes here, so I just don't remember everything, I guess, but it was very, very important to understand that he in his research committed some errors, but also committed a fraud. You see, a lot of people are producing research that contains errors, and this is like looking for a pathway to destination where we try to find some truth, and we don't always get there, and that's what research is, really. So some researchers are getting better than the others, and that's why they discuss their findings to really come to some conclusions, to eliminate errors and produce real scientific data. In case of Dr. Keys, it was a fraud. So what happens is, it was not questioned initially, and this produced substantial thing. One of them was industry that focused on high cholesterol and started producing things that were low cholesterol things, low cholesterol diets, and low-fat diets. I will be talking about it a little bit later. And all things taken together, this created a whole avalanche of events that made this country probably lowest cholesterol country on earth. And yet, United States is one of the fattest countries on earth. What happens is that our longevity started decreasing. It was actually getting shorter and shorter. It was shorter than when cholesterol was actually non-event. And other than that, cholesterol is a $20 billion market a year in the United States alone. This has to do with the low-fat diets, and on top of it, government is supporting this thing, not really knowing much about cholesterol, getting all this information from third-party publications or sources. Now, what happens is that cholesterol-lowering drugs are claimed to prevent Alzheimer's, heart disease, breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, perhaps, maybe some other cancers. While effectively, actually, statins, the drugs that lower production of cholesterol or immobilize liver mechanisms producing cholesterol, are having side effects such as terminal heart failure, strokes, liver damage, muscle damage, gastrointestinal problems, some memory loss, some dementia situations, erectile dysfunction, low libido, inflammatory conditions, low immunity, and premature aging. So this became so substantial that other countries started looking into it, because this, you see, a lot of countries around the world are feeding their pipeline of scientific information right from the United States here. So it was not really unusual that other countries started accepting the United States point of view on cholesterol. And yet it became so disastrous that, for example, in 2004, a study from the University of Innsbruck in Austria of 150,000 subjects showed that low cholesterol levels predict premature death in men of all ages and in women over the age 50. And then another one, in 1990 in Quebec, there was a Quebec cardiovascular study of 4,576 men and aged between 35 years and 64 years. That high cholesterol level was not associated with cardiovascular disease in all-cause mortality. It didn't matter. It really didn't matter. So what happens is that there are many others. It's kind of a way too many of them to actually talk about it. But interestingly enough, that in France, Dr. Foret, in France was running a study where he proved that the death rate was 5.2 times higher for women who had very low cholesterol, specifically 155 or 160, than those that had high cholesterol. And women that had actually cholesterol of about 270 to 340 had the lowest mortality rate because of cardiac problems. So all things taken together, I would like to tell you one thing. We are talking about cholesterol, but you really don't know what is it. I mean, people are saying, here's the point. You are going to a doctor, you get cholesterol test, and you get a report that reads lipid profiles. Well, just a second, you went for cholesterol, but you got lipid profiles. And lipids are not cholesterol. So let me tell you what cholesterol is. Cholesterol is an alcohol. Cholesterol, alcohol, methanol, ethanol, sterol, those are alcohols. OL in chemistry means alcohol. It's an essential part of life. We cannot live without it. A proof? Here is the egg. I guess I don't have egg here, but egg that is loaded with cholesterol. You probably have been told not to eat too many eggs, and yet perfectly good chicken is born out of it. So what happens is that if cholesterol was bad, there would be no chick born, wouldn't? And another thing is that cholesterol is needed for the production and maintenance of cells, essential element of immunity, and is a life-sustaining constituent of the human organism. Indeed, there is no cholesterol, no life. So what happens is that when cholesterol goes up, it's a symptom of some form of stress, poor nutrition, stress at work, family that doesn't work very well, financial problems. If there is a stress, cholesterol goes up. It is a symptom of stress. What are the other symptoms that we can compare it? High blood pressure is a symptom. Headache, cramps, blurred vision, those are symptoms. And eliminating causes, reducing the stress, lowers cholesterol. That's basically how it works. And I don't know if you remember, or if you know, do you know, that, for example, meditation and prayer drastically reduces cholesterol. It allows people to relax. Sources of cholesterol, it's liver, it's about 80%. 20% of the cholesterol comes with food. So we really truly cannot eat ourselves to cholesterol simply because liver has control over it. And that's all. We need cholesterol to live. We need good fats, animal fats, to produce cholesterol and nourish the body. I forgot to mention one thing though, that during the history of the humankind, or history of human civilization, there were whole cultures that lived of animal tissue alone and animal fats alone. But there was not a single culture that lived of plants alone. So this is very, very important for those that don't believe that meats and animal fats are needed. It's good to think about it. Other than that, elevated cholesterol is a symptom, much like elevated high blood pressure, and reducing cholesterol synthetically very often is similar to taking aspirin for a headache. Doesn't address the cause of the headache, but may cause some substantial side effects. My rules of nutrition: eat organic, nutrient-dense foods. If it wasn't food 100 years ago, it is not today. And if you cannot pronounce the content of the label, don't eat it. It's just not worth it. And thank you very much. Thank you for listening, and hopefully you have great health. If you have any questions or you need to set up a consultation, call our office. The telephone number is on the screen, and we'll be happy to set up a consultation for you. We do consultations all over the world, and of course, we are doing consultations in our office too. Once again, thank you for listening. I'm Dr. Kulisz. Goodbye.